Hello, this is Murli. Welcome to Tech Solutions. If you are watching my video first time, don't forget to subscribe the channel immediately and click the bell icon for more updates and like the video to reach more members. Don't skip the video and watch until end. And give your comments or query or specific suggestions, or if you need any specific topic want to explanation in comment section, and don't forget to the comment on video. The channel. In this video we are discussing about OOPS concept. OOPS in Python. OOPS in Python. Right? What are the OOPS concepts you are using in the Python programming? Before going to the topic, first of all you have to know what is meant by OOPS. What is meant by OOPS? That is object oriented programming. Object oriented programming language. That is the OOPS concept. Right? What is meant by OOPS concept means, here why you are calling, there is a number of OOPS concept means Python is a object oriented programming language. Why you are telling OOPS is a object oriented, Python is a object oriented programming means, here an object, what is the object you have to take, right? That object can be defined. If we can take an object, right, the object can be defined as data field. Means what are the objects you can consume, that will be defined as a data field. That will be defined as a data field that be unique. What is the data field we have? That field will be unique, will be perform. That will be perform the behavior. That will be perform the behavior. That is the concept of OOPS. Means what is meant by object oriented programming means, you can simply say an object oriented programming as the data field that will be unique attribute. Means what is the unique attributes will be perform the some behavior. The unique attribute will be, means you can take some unique attribute, right, and behavior is called as a object oriented programming. We can take any languages, the OOPS concepts are same, that will be varying on the programming languages. Now what is the OOPS concepts in the Python? We can see one by one. The OOPS concepts in the Python is class, the second one is the object, abstraction, class, object, abstraction, right, polymorphism, encapsulation, and inheritance. These all are called as the OOPS concept. OOPS concepts are class and object, abstraction, polymorphism, encapsulation, and inheritance. Right? These six are called as a OOPS concept if you taking the any languages. Now we can see one by one. What is meant by class? What is meant by class? Here the class is nothing but a collection of the class is nothing but a collection of attributes, and functions. A collection of attributes and functions are called as a class, or you simply say it is a blueprint. It is a blueprint which is followed by the object. It is a blueprint, that is which is followed by the object. Right? We can take in the any classes. For that class we have the object. It is followed by the blueprint. Means a class is simply, we can say, a collection of attributes, that is the variables and functions, is simply called as a class. Right? Simply we can say, we can define the logical syntax or logical statements of the particular class. Now you know what is meant by class. Simply you can say a class is nothing but this class can consist of attributes, right, and functions. A collection of attributes and functions is called as a class. Now class is nothing but a collection of attributes and functions. What is meant by attributes? The attributes is nothing but data. Now what is meant by function? Simply you have to function. Now these two are called, this data and function are called as a class members. These two are called as a class members. Simply we can say a collection of variables and collection of functions are called as a class. Clear? Just we can see the one by one. What is meant by class, what is meant by object, what is meant by abstraction, like that we have to see one by one. Now clear what is meant by class? Class is nothing but a collection of attributes or a collection of variables and functions are called as a class. Right? Now how we can declare the class? How we can declare the class? That will be shown in the next class. Present we have to see what is meant by class, what is meant by attribute, or object, like that we can see one by one. Next, what is meant by object? The second one is object. Here object is nothing but instance of a class. The object is nothing but the instance of a class. The instance of a class is nothing but the object. That is, you can simply say it is the reference to the class. It is the reference to a class. It's also called as a object. Means what is meant by object? Means instance of a class is nothing but object, or reference to the class is a object. Clear? Here every class, you can take the any class. For a class, right? For a class we have n number of objects we have to create. We can create the n number of objects we have to create. Means that is the depending on the problem. You have to creating a n number of object for a class. Right? What is meant by object? Object is nothing but instance or reference to a particular class is nothing but object. Clear? A class is nothing but a group of variables and functions. Object is nothing but an instance or reference of the particular class. What is the class you have to define? For that class you have representing the reference is called as a object. Right? Clear? Now, means simply I can explain what is the difference between class and object. Suppose here I can take one class. Here I can take the one class. Suppose it is the class. This class have the some attributes. Class has the some attributes. Suppose what is the attribute? Suppose the attribute is the roll number, right? Suppose name, suppose branch, and suppose functions. I can perform the read function. Suppose I can perform the write function. Now it is the class. Class is nothing but a group of attributes, that is the variables and functions. For this class, what is the attribute we have? Now it is called as a object. Right? Suppose for example class. So suppose the class name is the student. Now what is the roll number? Suppose the roll number is 123. Suppose name some XYZ. Suppose branch. Suppose CSC. Suppose what is the function they are doing? Suppose display function. Otherwise we can perform the read function. Now this is called as a object. Now it is called as a class. Now this object is reference to the particular class. Clear? Now what object is nothing but instance of the class. By using the object, we can access these member variables or these member attributes and functions. By using the object only we can access. That is the need of object. Simply say what is meant by instance or what is meant by reference means by using the object, right, we can accessing these members, either attributes or functions we can access. Clear? Next we can see what is meant by abstraction. The next one is the abstraction. The next one is abstraction. abstraction is nothing but simply we can say hiding the information. The abstraction is nothing but simply we can say hiding the information. Hiding the information. That means when you are implementing the anything, just we have to hide. We have to hide the implementation part. We have to hide the implementation part. Then we can show only the necessary thing. Means simply abstraction or data abstraction is nothing but we can hiding the information. That means hiding the information is nothing but if we have to implement the anything, those implementation part cannot be not showing. Only we have to show the necessary part. For example, if I have to execute any application program, what is the application program? We have suppose .exe file. Here I can executing the something, suppose someone app, suppose game.exe. Whenever I can executing this app will be executed. I don't know what is the internal they will be implemented. That is called as a abstraction. Abstraction means we have to hide the functionality of the particular program, right? But it will be shows what is the necessary of the particular functions. That is called as a abstraction. Means abstraction is nothing but simply we can say hide the information. That is which is not necessary, which you have to show. Everything will be hiding. That is called as a abstraction. Clear? Next, what is the next one? Polymorphism. The next one is a polymorphism. Here, what is meant by polymorphism? The name itself there is a meaning. Poly means more. Poly means more. Morphism means thing. Means we can represent one thing. We can take the anything will be represent more than one. Polymorphism is nothing but to represent one thing has many things. We can represent the one thing as a many thing. That is nothing but polymorphism. It means more than one we have to represent. That is concept of the polymorphism. Suppose we can take, suppose for example, I can take, what is the need of this operator? It is a plus, right? It is a plus. Is the plus, right? This plus operator can use it. Means that is a one operator. This operator can be used for addition. To which values I have to addition? Suppose for the integer values. This addition can be used for addition for the type of integer value. Same. This plus can be used for concatenation for the strings. Whenever you can concatenate the strings, then I can using the plus operator. Means plus is a one thing. This one thing I can use it for the many thing purpose. That is called as a polymorphism. Here one thing can represent many things or many purposes. Clear? That is the polymorphism. Next, encapsulation. The next one is the encapsulation. What is meant by encapsulation? Encapsulation is nothing but the wrapping up of data. Encapsulation is nothing but the wrapping up of data into single entity, or simply we can say the binding the attributes, binding the attributes and the functions, binding the attributes and functions into a single entity is called as encapsulation. Means what is meant by encapsulation? Means we have to grouping or we have to wrapping up of a different thing into a single entity. That is simply you can say attributes. What is meant by attributes? List of attributes available in the class, as it is functions also available in the class. These all are under a single entity, that is called as a class. Okay, now that is the concept of encapsulations, right? These attributes and functions which you have to binding, this will be accessed by using the some access specifiers are there. Access specifiers are there. Now what are the different access specifiers we have? The one is public, right? The second one is the protect or protected, and third one is the private. These three are the access specifiers. Means once we can declare the any function by using the any access specifiers, then how long we can access, right? That is the called as a access specifier. Suppose if we can declare the any function as a public, means this function can access, it is accessed by the function, right? Accessed by the function, right? By defining the any class. That means public means anyone, means the function which you have to access by the function by any class is called as a public. Suppose what is the protect? The protect is nothing but only. We have to access within the class or inherited class means if we can define the one function, that function can access within the function as well as the inherited class also we can access. And if we can declare the function as a private, then it will be accessed by, only that class. Clear? What is meant by public means the function or methods which you have to declare by the public access specifier. Now those methods will be accessed by the any class. That is accessed by the any class in the particular function. Then what is meant by protect means if you can declare the function or method by the protected access specifier, now those methods will be accessed only within the class or inherited class if we can acquire the properties from the parent class into child class. And what is meant by private? Private means that accessed by the only the class in which class you have to define the methods. Here the data prevention in the public is this is a low priority. Now it is the middle priority and it is the high priority for the data prevention. Right? This is some access specifiers to performing the encapsulation techniques. That means binding of attributes and functions in a single entity is called as the encapsulations. And as it is, it will be performing in the data abstraction also we have to find. Now clear what is meant by encapsulation. And the last one is the inheritance. The last one is inheritance. What is meant by inheritance? Inheritance means simply we can say we can acquire the properties. We can acquire the properties from parent class into child class. We can acquire the properties from parent class into child class. Here the parent class is also called as a base class. The parent class is also called as a base class. Child class is also called as a derived class. Means we can derive the properties from the base class. Right? What is the simple you can say? Means we can acquire the some properties from the parent class into child class. Suppose for example, here I can declare the one class, suppose class A, right? In this class A I have the some properties. In class A I have the some properties and some functions, means attributes and then functions. Now I have the one more class, that is the class B, right? Now this class B will be inherited from the class A. This class B is inherited from the class A. That means now what are the properties of class A? That is the attributes and functions are inherited to class B. That means what are the features available in the class A will be accessed by the class B. Right? That means we have to derive the new class. What is the new class here? B is the child class. It is derived from the parent class. That is called as a inheritance. Inheritance is nothing but simply we can acquiring the properties from the base class into derived class or parent class into child class. Right? Here we have the different types of inheritance concepts. single inheritance or multiple inheritance or hierarchy inheritance or multi-level inheritance, everything will be seen in the future classes, right? What is meant by inheritance? Inheritance is nothing but we can acquiring the properties from parent class into child class. Now these are called as the OOPS concept, right? Glimpse we can see. What is meant by class? Class is nothing but a collection of attributes and functions is called as a class. What is meant by object? Object is nothing but instance of a class, a reference of a class is nothing but object. What is the need of object? By using the object only we can access the attributes and functions of a particular class, right? And abstraction. What is meant by abstraction? Means we have to hiding the implementation part. Means you can hiding the information. Simply you can say you have to hide the information. And polymorphism. Polymorphism is nothing but a one thing can represent many things. A one thing can represent many things. What is meant by encapsulation? Encapsulation is nothing but we have to wrapping up of data into a single unit, or we have simply binding the data, that means attributes and functions into a single entity is called as a encapsulation. And what is meant by inheritance? Inheritance is nothing but we can acquiring the properties from the parent class into child class or base class into derived class. That is called as a inheritance. Clear? I hope everyone should clear. If you have any clarifications, please comment in the comment section. Thank you. In next video we can see classes and object. Thank you.